There's a gap in science that has not been fully explored yet. So, neuroscience can describe what the brain does, it can map processes, identify patterns, and it can explain behavior. But it still has yet to account for why our physical reality feels like something. Or why it has specific meanings to you. So, at the same time, millions of people are reporting experiences that feel deeply real, life changing, profound moments, and these remain outside the scope of scientific explanation. So, First Person Science explores that gap. And this is a monthly series presented by the Center for Unification of Science and Consciousness, otherwise known as CUSAC, where we look at how consciousness itself might be studied. We bring together subjective experience, objective measurement, and new experimental approaches. And CUSAC is a 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2018 by Tom Campbell, a former NASA and Department of Defense physicist. I'm Stacy Murphy. I'm the Director of Operations at CUSAC, and this is First Person Science. Today, we have with us again David Chartrand, and he is the CEO and founder of Squiddo, a AR video game company in Canada. And he is a visionary when it comes to how to bridge science with consciousness research. And he is also the executive director of CUSAC currently. What I love about David is that he works from his heart. And I believe that any consciousness research that's going to be meaningful in this world is going to come from our hearts. So welcome, David. And I'll let you go today with what is quantum idealism and why does it matter?
Thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So yeah, I'll talk about quantum idealism. So for people who've been following Tom Campbell for many years, I would say it's an extension of Tom's work. I've been collaborating with Tom for the past 8 years. I worked on the initial experiments from the Kickstarter. By the way, if you have questions about that, I can answer it after the talk. And so after these experiments, we came up with new ideas to test the theory, how to extend the theory, and how to ground it in physics in more details. So we came up with the term quantum idealism. It's like a umbrella term for a family of consciousness theory, which posits that consciousness is fundamental and how it could basically behave and interact with physics at the quantum level. And we try to do it in a really rigorous way, testable with mathematical formulation, but also with an inspiring worldview that makes all of this sound, fun, exciting, and relatable to our own inner experience. So that's what I will talk today about. And for this, I'm trying something new today. With AI, things are getting crazy. So I'm using Claude Code more and more. So I decided instead of doing a PowerPoint like I've been doing for the past 20 years, why don't I make an interactive website with Claude Code? So this is what I did. And I'll put the link in the chat, quantumidealism.org. And this is what I will present today. I'll talk about quantum idealism. So it's a theory we're working on where consciousness is fundamental. Reality is not fixed yet. And meaningfulness as a weight, as a power in physics. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the testable prediction, and here we go. Just a quick disclaimer: this is a really bold, speculative theory. We're bundled a bunch of ideas together, a lot of hypotheses, a lot of far-fetched ideas, but I think they deeply resonate. They're also sound. They're based on philosophy and physics. But we push the envelope. It's still fringe science, but it's part of the approach we have. We are in the fail fast mode, ship fast. So startup mentality. Let's try things. Let's be out there. Let's try them. And if it fails, let's just readjust. So we'll be happy to falsify our own theory and to move the physics forward. And of course, we're following the fun criterion, which is follow your drive. It's probably will lead you in the right direction. And it's aligned with the theory, so it makes sense. So that's the disclaimer. Let's have fun. So it's based on, there's no progress in physics for the past 2 centuries. A lot of progress in physics. Now we have like these devices, phones and satellites and AI, a bunch of technology, which is great. That came up from science and physics, but we still have no theory of feeling. Like, why do we feel anything? What is consciousness? What it means to a psychedelic trip, does it do anything? And now there's a AI coming, there's a meaning crisis, people losing their job, questioning about like, what am I different from AI? Like, we have a lot of struggles coming also in front of us with climate change and the geopolitical changes. So we're facing all of that, humanity, and finally, also at this age, we have the tools, we have technologies, we have AI, we have a bunch of things that allows for faster discovery. So I think we're at an inflection point. Consciousness needs to be understood. It's part of our day-to-day life, and it needs to be integrated into physics. Yes, I think consciousness is something special, something fundamental, but there's no reason it cannot be part of our theory of physics and drive innovations, technology, and new worldview. So there's two words in quantum idealism. There's quantum, so quantum mechanics, foundation of physics, and there's the word idealism. So it comes from the story we tell people at school and that most people believe in is that at the foundation of what we know, there's like quantum physics. There's little particles, there's fields, or something, and then these things agglomerate into more and more complexity. So they create chemistry, biology, psychology, and at some point, consciousness emerges from our brain, from our psychology, and it does something. It's like a side effect of the universe, and it happens at some point. There was no consciousness until human beings, and then consciousness appeared, and maybe does something, but like physicists don't understand what it can do. So that's the normal materialist viewpoint. So idealism is flipping this around. It's putting consciousness at the foundation instead of at the top. We put it at the foundation and we say, no, maybe consciousness, which is the only real thing we know about, because just a parenthesis here, it's cool to say there's particles and chemistry and everything, but we only know about these things in our consciousness. So it's only in our consciousness that we can talk about particles and stuff. So, and we don't even know what our particle is. So maybe it's logical to flip this and say, maybe it's consciousness at the bottom. Like consciousness is what matter is what reality is. And then from consciousness, we go to information, quantum physics, chemistry, biology, and psychology, but it's consciousness all the way down. So this is what we mean by idealism. So we take this position. I won't defend it more than that, but it's a sound approach. So why not? So consciousness as a base reality. And why quantum consciousness? There's 350 theories of consciousness that are documented, way more ideas than that. And there's a map you can, there's a link here. You can look at the map of the landscape of consciousness theories that was put in place by Robert Lawrence Kuhn and Alex Gorens-Marin. So a bunch of them are materialism. There's some dualism, idealism, theory of consciousness, panpsychism. There's many alternate states. So Tom Campbell is here, for example. So many theories of consciousness. So there are a family like Tom Campbell, altered states, idealism theory, quantum theories. So what we do is that we believe that consciousness is real, feeling is real, is not like an illusion or a byproduct. Some people think it is. So if we remove the theories that say that, there's about 210 left. We also think that feeling is not computable. It's not something that when you do calculation on a computer, you could, have the feeling of redness, the feeling of a cake popping into existence. We don't think it's something that can happen. And we also think that consciousness do something. So when I'm conscious, because it's useful, like it was selected by evolution. So, when evolution and my biology generate this whole field of experience right now because it has a function. It's useful. So I can maybe decide to raise my arm. My consciousness is doing something here. If not, it would not be selected by evolution. So I know there's there's a experiment like a Libet experiments that say we have no free will. Consciousness does nothing because the brain kind of do computation before we are even aware of it. But we don't believe that. We think it has a causal power for many reasons. So if we take these assumptions, feeling is real, feeling is non-computable, and consciousness has causal power, we kind of represent like about 50, 60 theories of consciousness that kind of fit that are mostly in the quantum theories, idealism, panpsychism family. And this is what we create as an umbrella when we talk about quantum idealism. Yeah. So what is quantum idealism? If I start with the metaphor, and I like it, with the advance of science and the advance of physics and the advance of computer, now a lot of people and physicists are talking about the universe and reality as a machine. Like the universe is a machine. It's made of particles. Physics just happen. It follows laws. It's indifferent to us. Like this exists. It happens. It follows regularity. Consciousness is a late accident. It happened in the universe on planet Earth by chance. It does not much. It's not important. Meaning things that are meaningful is a story we tell ourselves to to not be too scared and a way to face the void. And all the anomalies, ESP, extrasensory perception, placebo effect, psychokinesis, and stuff like that, gut feeling, are just illusions, or like random flukes, or anecdotes we tell ourselves. So that's the story that the world operates in right now. The worldview, the world operate most of it in it, and I think it's the source of many of the problems we face. So we flip this by saying that the universe is alive. Like quantum idealism at the foundation is that consciousness, the whole universe, is made of consciousness, and it is a living being. It's alive. It's not like a deterministic machine that have no feeling. No, reality is made of experience, particles, particles and fields are what it looks from the outside. When you look at the reality of experience, it looks like particles, but it's experience all the way down. This is what like Bernardo Kastrup would say, that physics has a direction. It's not just dumb laws. There's a force pushing these laws in a direction. They have not appeared by chance. They're really driven by something. Consciousness fundamental. It's not a side effect. Everything is from consciousness. And meaningfulness. The emotions we feel, the drive we have is the force in action. We can feel it. It's a driver in the universe, and the universe basically it's navigating meaningfulness. It's really core to the physics theory. And anomalies like ESP, placebo, and stuff like that are signal, are anomalous data that we have not yet fully understand how to probe. So we can see the universe as like an egg, or like or an organism evolving within itself and trying to discover itself and evolving. So that's the vision. And I would say both are unproven. And I just think the one on the left is really sad. So I don't know why we tell this to ourselves and our civilization. Like if we don't know, maybe we should just say we don't know and give equal validity to both. And why don't just tell this one to everyone instead? That seems way more fun and exciting than this one. Of course, there's a lot of parallel also with religion, religious belief. I could be using the word God here. This word is fine with me. Maybe offending for some because it's really charged, but it's pretty much what it says. Like I think we're living in the mind of God, and God is evolving within itself, if I may say. So in a nutshell, that's quantum idealism. We say the universe is alive. And we think that consciousness is kind of equal to the universal wave function. Like all of what quantum physics is describing, we say this is the mind of the cosmic consciousness that it is describing. So if we start, like we think that there's like oneness, there's one single consciousness. I can call it cosmic consciousness or God or whatever you want to call it. So one thing that is conscious, it is a force, and this is what drives everything. This is why there's something instead of nothing. It's this thing. It's alive. It exists. We can say it like a solipsist viewpoint, where there's only one thing, but it evolves and dissociates into multiple point of view, like myself, like you, like my cells, animals, life. And that's how from one we multiply. So the vision for that, how can one thing, like one field, one God, one consciousness can become multiple consciousnesses? I mean, it's based on the work of Bernardo Kastrup. I also want to quote Gomez Simonson and Percy, who wrote this paper about EM field topology. how it could solve the binding problem of consciousness. They do really great work. I always like to shout out to them. So basically, what they say, and I'll just do it with a little animation, is that here there's a field, like the unified field of quantum mechanics. There's a field, a single field. It's one thing. It's the universal consciousness. But field can be distorted. Like it could be like if I use this here, I can use this, and I can create I can create a wave in that field. I can twist it if I have so I can twist the field. So the point here, this is the little animation I made with AI. This is pretty much like a metaphor to what CRISPR-C and Cas9 are talking about. We have a field. The field can twist itself. So I can twist or distort it to create a bubble, like a pocket. And this pocket then feel dissociated from the universal field. So like this could be my consciousness. The field twists itself like a balloon, that a clown used to make like a dog or something for a kid. So it dissociates, and then in that bubble, the interior of it can feel different things, can feel blueness, redness, the taste of sugar, depending of the structure and the shape of how the field is distorted. But when the bubble pops, it just reemerged with the field. It was always the field. So I think this is what we are. I think this is what my cells are, what you are, I am, life, like everything, I think, in the universe are dissociated pockets like that. And that's why they feel, oh, I'm David. I see the world from this point of view, and I experience X, Y, Z. But in fact, when you die or when you are born, it's just the field that's twisted and dissociated. So that's in short. And then when we act, you see here, I do actions, I create waves. Waves like electrons and physics, what we talk about, are waves in the field. Particles don't exist. It just wave in the field. So when I talk, when I act, what I do, I create waves around me, waves that propagates to you, and my waves, so my electrons and my energy I send to you, interface to your bubble and affect the structure of your bubble. And that's why you feel different things inside of you. So in short, like that would be how we start from one, and we dissociate into multiple beings, and we can interact with one another. And that's why when you meditate or sleep or take psychedelic or have brain damage, what truly happens is that your membrane, the shape of your structure, is modified, and that's why you feel other stuff. Maybe your bubble allows you to feel outside of you a bit more. So that's the vision. I also like this image. I'll just show it again. Like if we have two people, would look like this. So I have my bubble on the left, your bubble on the right. I feel red, you feel blue, but we're connected in the same field, and we exchange words through little waves navigating from one another. So we have a three worlds model based on Karl Popper come up with that, David Bohm as well, Mike Levin is also talking about that, and of course Roger Penrose. The three world model is to, I'll just make it bigger. Sorry, I lost myself. Yeah. So three world model here is that, in life, there's three things. There seem to be things outside of me, things physical, objects. So this is world one. There's a cup here. We can all agree there's a cup. There seems to be a cup outside of us, even if it's all made of consciousness, that is there. Then we have our consciousness, our feeling, our internal feeling. And then there's the world of possibility. We need to not forget about that one. Like, for example, the number 4. Where's the number 4 exists? It's not something concrete. It's not something just in my mind. It's something out there that kind of exists, but I cannot tap it. It's like a Latin space. It's a Platonic space, like what a square is, what a cube is, like all mathematical truth, all future inventions exist in that realm. For example, a bow and a crossbow existed in that realm before we discovered them, before we invented them. They were in latent space. So we think the universe is, in fact, reality is something that interfaces the tree. So consciousness, we think consciousness can feel future possibility, like future potential existence. The same way like we discover mathematics, we can sense mathematical truth, and we bring them into existence into world one. So consciousness is the interface between the real things and the things that could be. It's that interface that so we can sense the future and materialize them in reality. So so in short, that's how we connect the three worlds. And Michael Levin, renowned biologist, is in the same line where we're discovering these latent patterns. So it's like if if I have a cell, for example, and here I'm simplifying. If I have a cell, the cell starts at on a could be anything, but by sensing in the environment, sensing future, it can be attracted towards a limb, attracted towards an eye, attracted toward a wing. These things exist in platonic space. If I use the example of the bow or crossbow, we could not have invented a crossbow before inventing the bow. So we at some point we had the idea, we were attracted. Oh yeah, maybe we could use these things to make like a weapon. That's maybe I should choose another example. But when we invented the bow, then the possibility of the crossbow became possible, and then we navigate this through life, and we materialize these things. Same for cells, same for life. So basically, we think that consciousness steers the future towards these attractor states that are already latent out there. So in short, it means that reality is not fixed. I really like this animation here. So it's in short, this is the many world branching. Physicists thinks things are in superposition, so the future is not determined. It branches in many possible parallel reality. Some physicists think that all these reality exist at the same time. We think with quantum idealism that yes, they all exist, but in potentiality, you navigate. Your consciousness helps to navigate what you will experience. So the example here is that let's say I'm feeling blue right now. Okay, I'm feeling blue, and in the future, I do an experiment. I can either feel blue or feel green in the future. Okay, for example, a Bézier particle, if it's on the left and the left, it's blue. If it's on the right, it's green. So this is the true quantum superposition. But our theory thinks that consciousness is attracted towards novelty, towards meaning, because going from feeling blue to feeling blue again in the future, it's familiar feeling blueness. I don't want to feel blueness again and again and again. It's boring. So consciousness wants to know itself, wants to explore. That's why it explodes in complexity. That's why we have like an urge to create and to explore and meet other people and feel new experiences. So we think our theory is that consciousness can steer the collapse, can sense the future states and steer the collapse in that direction. So if I feel blue right now, less likely to feel blue in the future, more likely to feel greenness in the future. So if I step in the future, I felt green. And then if I felt green, now feeling green again is less likely. So, but it's still a stochastic process. So it may happen that I feel green again, and in this path, I will feel green again. So 50-50, the universe doesn't care anymore. So I can reset the universe and feel this time another path. It's always different. It's always a probability wave, but it's based on what we experienced in the past. So that's how we think that consciousness navigates future possibility. Basically, we sense the future, so precognition, and then we steer the collapse of the wave function towards this. But keep in mind, I say me, but we are all connected. We're all one consciousness. So it's not just about me feeling greenness or blueness. You all participate and you're all into this. So that's why the effect of sensing and steering basically manifesting reality is weak, because my feeling is against or with everyone else feeling. So that's why we cannot manifest make a cake appear in my hand just by manifesting it. It's probably possible, but we need a lot of conviction, a lot of people wanting it. So in a nutshell, that's what we think. We think meaning can influence outcome, like I said. So like if we do coin flips, for example, there could be a strength that we can deviate from chance. Instead of 50-50 when I do coin flips, maybe there's a force that can steer the coin flips in a direction. So that's macro PK or precognition. So, placebo effect, beginner's luck, even sham surgery. I don't know if you know that, but sometimes they pretend to do a surgery and they don't do it, but it still heal the person just because of their belief. So the belief has an effect. And I think these are examples, beginner's luck, or even gut feeling. I feel I should do this instead of this. Where did this come from? we think quantum idealism is sensing the right path for you. So I think I will stop there. The rest is mostly our own theory of consciousness. I will test it with the experiments. We're developing a mathematical formulation of that. I'll skip all of this, and we're putting it to the test with our Player Mind Video Game as Labs, the Quantum Quality Research Institute, and the testing of extrasensory perception with MindSight. So I will end there. Keep in mind, you are the universe learning itself. You contribute to the learning of the universe, and please follow the fun, follow your gut feeling. That's the way to progress.
I'm always in awe. Thank you so much, David. And for those of you who are paying attention and you're like, how do we dive deeper into this? For what David is sharing today, it really sits at the edge of what we can cover publicly here. And I know that people have questions. I know people want to go deeper. There's more that David can share. So before we go further, I want to briefly mention something for those of you who may want to take advantage of that. So at CUSAC, we host smaller private conversations with our team. David will be here today, that we call the Inner Circle. And these are conversations where we can share more of what's emerging behind the scenes. David can go a little bit deeper, share maybe a little bit of data, and even include early stage exploratory findings that aren't yet public. And so we welcome you there to ask all of your questions, to chat with David. And so access to the Inner Circle, these sessions are typically a perk that we extend to those who support our work with ongoing contributions of $100 or more per month. So we're going to head over to the Inner Circle. Before we do, I just wanted to say thank you, David, for your enthusiasm, your inspiration you bring to all of this. This is a new era of consciousness research, and you're at the leading edge. And the way that you present it with those diagrams really brings people right into it. So thank you so much for that. That's it for this episode of First Person Science. This is an ongoing exploration into one of the hardest open questions in science. That is the gap between physical reality and our human experience of that physical reality. And we are just getting started. If this conversation resonated, you can follow along as this work unfolds at CUSAC.org, CUSAC.org. And this series is presented by CUSAC, a 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2018 by Tom Campbell, a former NASA and Department of Defense physicist. Thank you all, and we'll see you again on the next First Person Science.